So when I watch the Arizona Cardinals play football, right, whether you're talking about today or throughout the course of the season, and remember they were 2-2 heading into today's matchup against the Jets, I see a team that's young, inexperienced, inconsistent, a team that at times is electrifying. You look at your buddies that you're watching the game with, and you're like, oh my goodness, like this Arizona Cardinals offense could be the next great offense, right? This team could be the next Chiefs. And then there's plays, there's drives, there's even games where it's just mistakes and critical mistakes just all across the field. Whether it's like losing the penalty battle or giving up a long third down, Vance Joseph sending an all-out blitz, and it's just they get burned. Kyler Murray turnovers. It's inconsistent, right? It's a huge roller coaster ride. There's ups and there's downs. But you know what this Cardinals team has? They have an identity. And you look at great teams out there, the Chiefs, the Seahawks, the Patriots, the Steelers, every great team that you can think of, every team that's probably going to be going to the playoffs this season, every team that went to the playoffs last year, they know what they want to do. They know who they are on the offensive side of the ball, on the defensive side of the football. And that is something that the Jets do not have. We don't have the slightest idea on who we are as a team, what we want to do on offense. When the plan doesn't work, when the game plan doesn't work going into the game, that's the game. There's no chance for a fourth quarter comeback, and it's a mess. The Jets are just lost. Under Adam Gase, the New York Jets are lost, and it's disappointing. It's frustrating as a fan, but at this point in the season, we're 0-5. And it's not like I'm sitting here like, I'm all, pissed off and angry that the Jets lost because I assume that the the Cardinals would win in today's matchup. I just think they're the more talented team, and they have a much better head coach in Cliff Kingsbury. By the way, Chris Johnson interviewed Cliff Kingsbury, let him walk out the door, and hired Adam Gase instead. Just even though the Arizona Cardinals are not the Super Bowl contender, they're not in their final form, if you will, they're on their way, right? They have the blueprint. They have the young core in place. They have playmakers. They know where they're going. Again, they get in their own way. They stumble from time to time, but they stick to who they are. And they're going to win games. And they're going to lose games, but they know who they are. And they're building they already have the foundation, but they're building for the future. And that's something, again, the Jets, it's just, non-existent with this organization. Okay, it's non-existent. We don't know what we're good at. We don't know what works. We know what doesn't work, but we continue to do that week after week after week. And another thing, you look at Gase's record as a head coach, whether you want to talk about this year, his time with the Jets, or dating back with all those years with the Miami Dolphins, not only is it not good, but you look at the double-digit losses, it's brutal, man. I can't even remember like a Jets like game-winning field goal or even like a Jets game-losing field goal, like it just being close, like neck and neck, just striking back and forth throughout the entire game. And it just goes, it's a tough dogfight up until the last 2 minutes of the game where a team would, have a game-winning drive to win, or, it's going to overtime and it's just a slugfest, and it's just a great game of football by two competitive teams. It's never like that. It's the Jets are just getting blown off the field each and every game. It's tough. And again, the double-digit losses you can link back to his time with the Miami Dolphins. It's not pretty. And you know what that tells me? And I know it's like an easy thing for somebody to, look at and just be like, oh, the Jets lose by double digits all the time. They suck and all that kind of stuff. But I think when you take a deeper dive into those numbers, or into that weird realm of all of these double-digit losses, I think that's a reflection of game planning throughout the week, going into the game, and having an inability to adjust on the fly. A reflection of not being able to adjust at halftime and come out of the gates with a different mindset, a different plan of attack, a different overall game plan to kind of, again, adjust and move forward. It's like we have one idea, we're laser focused on one thing throughout the week, and if that thing does not work, we lose. We lose in the first quarter. That's a tendency that I've noticed throughout the course of this season, and a little bit last year, the start of last season, not so much towards the tail end. But one thing I noticed big time was that when the Jets are down early, there's like no chance of a comeback. And that's horrible, right? That is absolutely horrible. And that's a direct reflection of coaching and game planning and inability to make those adjustments, to adjust on the fly, to kind of realize, like, you know what, hey, this is not working. We got to scrap that. Let's go to plan B. Or even on the defensive side of the ball, I mean, Kyler Murray was just torching us today. DeAndre Hopkins lit it up in the second half. I mean, Kyler Murray through the air, on the ground. Chase Edmonds was doing his thing as well. Andy Isabella broke free for a really solid play. And I think it was on like a 3rd and long or something like that. It was just brutal. No pass rush. But again, it all ties back to identity. The Jets don't know they don't know what they're good at. They don't know what works. And so each week it's like we're going in where it's just, we're blindfolded and we're just throwing a dart at the, trying to hit a bullseye. Like, we have no idea what we're doing, but it's like, well, let's try this and let's just throw it and see what happens. And if that doesn't work, it's like, oh, well, like, we lose. End of the first quarter, we lose. Down 14-0, game over. Like, there's no way that there's no possible adjustment. There's no possible halftime plan moving forward, or there's no insurance policy, if you will. It's just one way, and that's Gase's way. And if that doesn't work, team loses. Very, very, very frustrating. So I'll leave it there. Another Sunday, another loss. 0-5 on the year. New York Jets are the worst team in football, and it kills me to say that. It really, really does. For a guy that loves New York Jets, the sport of football, the Jets team overall, I live for this stuff. Love football. Favorite thing in the world. For me to wake up on Sundays and just be like, I hope the Jets lose, or like, I don't hope the Jets lose, but I'm just kind of shooting for the Jets not to lose by double digits. That's just not a good mindset to have as a fan of football, whether you're a fan of whoever it is, the worst team in the league, the best team in the league, college football, high school football, whatever. If you go into a game with that mindset, it's just not a fun game to watch. So changes need to be made, and we'll see. Will Adam Gase get fired tomorrow? We don't know. I know there's reports that they wanted to keep Gase around for the rest of the season so it wouldn't mess up Darnold's development. I'm like, the offense is last. What more development needs to go down or needs to happen? Is there development at all? All I see is regression. So it makes no sense to me. Atlanta Falcons, they're also 0-5 as well. So we'll see if Dan Quinn gets fired, but I guess that's beside the point. So I'll leave it there. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching this video, for sticking with this team, for sticking with this channel. I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.